Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content, and for today I prepared a list of 11 fragrances that will get you back to school or college smelling great. And the best thing out of all is that all 11 that I'm going to show you today are very affordable as well. The first fragrance that I'm going to show you today will be one of my all-time most favorite cheapies. It comes from the brand of Afnan. It's a very well-known, very famous cheapie that you can safely call a Hall of Fame cheap fragrance. It's called 9 PM. And this fragrance, of course, is very heavily hyped up for a good reason. This is a great clone of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Ultra Mauve. And I absolutely love the scent of 9 PM. It's not an exact one-to-one clone to Ultra Mauve. This feels slightly fresher. It uses a fresher, less sweet apple note in the opening compared to the original sweet pear note, but you got still got pretty much the same other notes like the minty freshness, the very sweet vanilla dry down, all around a very nice, very sexy fragrance from the brand of Afnan. Performance is great, very high compliment factor, all around a superb cheapie, a very famous cheapie for a very good reason. My second suggestion comes from the brand of Hadlaj and it's called Shiaka Blue. And this is a very interesting fragrance that, unlike most other scents that I'm going to show today, is not a straight up clone of anything. This is more like a unique creation from the brand of Hadlaj. It smells pretty similar, especially in the opening, to a very famous fragrance, and that very famous fragrance is Bleu de Chanel. It's not an exact clone in the opening of Bleu de Chanel. This carries some of the freshness, some of the the woodiness of Bleu de Chanel, but this just feels sweeter. On the dry down, this goes into its own direction, and it becomes quite sweet, becomes quite shower jelly. It's basically what you can call the definition of a blue fragrance. It's very nicely done, quality is good, performance is good. It's an all-year fragrance that you can safely wear for any type of occasion. It's a compliment getter, has a very good performance, and it's very affordable. My next suggestion also comes from the brand of Hadlaj, and it's very heavily inspired by Creed Aventus. Now, in this, as far as Aventus clones or inspirations, you can safely go with many of them, but I've picked up this one because I think this is a little bit more youthful compared to most other clones or inspirations. The fragrance itself is called Infini Absolu, and this is like a sweeter, slightly bubblegummy take on the Creed Aventus DNA. Now, Creed Aventus, of course, is a very famous fragrance, very versatile, very easy to wear fragrance that works all year round. But the reason why I picked up Infini Absolu specifically for this video is because this is a sweeter take, making it a little bit more youthful take on the Creed Aventus DNA. Other than that, it smells very similar, and has the very same high versatility as the original fragrance. It has the very same super high compliment factor as the original fragrance. So I think this is a great suggestion for some of you younger guys out there who are looking to get in the in the Creed Aventus clone game, but with something with a slightly more playful, slightly more youthful edge. Quality is very good, performance is very good, all around this is a very nice and interesting take on the Creed Aventus DNA. My next suggestion also bears some similarities to Creed Aventus, but this is even more further away, scent-wise compared to the original fragrance. It comes from the brand of Zimaya and it's called Sharaf the Club. And this, to my nose, smells like a fresher, less sweet, less smoky and woody and more soapy take on the Creed Aventus DNA. Now, some people have compared this one to Creed Aventus Absolu. I've never tried the original fragrance, so I cannot tell you, how close this is to that one. But I can tell you that this, again, just to my nose, feels more aromatic, a more fresher and soapier take on the Creed Aventus DNA. But at the same time smells different enough so that it doesn't feel redundant if you have another Creed Aventus clone in your collection. Comes really nicely packaged, has very good performance, very good projection, another very versatile and fragrance with very high compliment factor. And the best thing out of all is that it's quite affordable. Now, moving on to another very versatile, very easy to wear, very likable scent DNA that also gets crazy compliments. And that's the DNA of Bulgari's Tiger. Also, you can think of it as a Suspiro Vibrato again. The fragrance that I'm going to show you today is a little bit more expensive than anything else that I'm going to show you throughout this video, but you get a great quality in return, and this still is quite affordable and only a fraction of the price of the original scents. The fragrance itself comes from the brand of Arabiat Prestige, and it's called Aris. And again, this is a crazy good scent that also has a pressurized atomizer. I absolutely love the original fragrance and all good inspirations. It's a very fresh, citrusy fragrance that has a nice amount of spiciness, a nice amount of woodiness. We get some muskiness in this one, get a nice amount of sweetness from a grapefruit note and some ambery sweetness as well. Very, very nice fragrance all around, absolutely superb. Offers great performance, great projection, and again a very, very versatile fragrance with super high compliment factor. Next, moving on to a couple of Lattafa fragrances. The first one will be part of the Nashama line, and it's called Nashama Caprice, and this is a clone of YSL La Nuit de l'Homme Blue Electric, and it's very, very nicely done. Very similar to the original fragrance. Also, this can serve as an alternative to the OG La Nuit de l'Homme. It's a very fresh, very spicy, very creamy fragrance, aromatic, super sexy scent that compared to the original, to my nose, feels a little bit more powdery, but at the same time has a very, very good quality, and the performance here is superb for this scent profile. In fact, it's better than the original Blue Electric. It offers better projection than the original, it offers slightly longer lasting power compared to the original, and the best thing out of all is that it's very, very affordable. You know, that La Nuit de l'Homme Blue Electric DNA is slightly fresher, slightly more youthful compared to the OG, and that makes Nashama Caprice a great daily driver scent for a young guy. And my second Lattafa suggestion will be part of the Hayaati line, and it's called simply Hayaati or Hayaati Black. Now, this fragrance is heavily inspired by Paco Rabanne's Invictus/Invictus Aqua. Now, as a replacement, you can go with something like Rassasi Hawas, which is also an absolutely fantastic fragrance, but unfortunately at this point in time it's quite expensive, so a way cheaper alternative for me will be Hayaati Black. It's pretty similar scent-wise to Rassasi Hawas. You get that bubblegummy, sweet bubblegummy scent profile that's very youthful. You get a bit of saltiness, some aquatic features in it. Very aromatic, very sweet, very playful fragrance that works pretty much all year round and can serve as a great signature scent for a young guy. Performance is very decent, projection is very decent, and the best thing out of all is that it's very, very cheap. Again, you can go with Rassasi Hawas as well, as long as you don't mind the higher price tag, or you can find it for a very cheap price. Now, my next suggestion is also pretty similar to the previous one, to Hayaati Black and to Rassasi Hawas, but this feels, again, different enough for me that it doesn't feel redundant to show it in this video. It comes from Fragrance World and their Alhambra brand, and it's called Kayt. Now, this again carries very similar scent profile to Hawas, but this just feels a little bit more spicy and a little bit more fruity. It doesn't feel as aquatic as the Hawas fragrance, and this smells really, really nice actually. It's pretty much like a more unisex take on that whole DNA. Again, you get the sweetness, the bubblegummy sweetness, but in here you also got some fruity sweetness. You get a hint of a marine note, aquatic note. You get a hint of saltiness. But all around, this again feels slightly sweeter and more fruity take. Performance is very good, projection is very good, and it's a very affordable scent that you can daily drive throughout the year. The second Fragrance World scent that I'm going to show you in today's video is called Just a SWAT. And this is a clone of none other than the also famous Dior Sauvage Elixir. And this is actually done pretty nicely. You also get a pressurized sprayer, which I always love in fragrances. It's very spicy, it's very aromatic, has this sort of a slight old school barbershopy vibe. On the dry down you get some warmth from an amber note, you get the lavender, you know, the nutmeg, all of the things that you get out of the original, and this might even feel slightly more spicy compared to Sauvage Elixir as well. I'm still testing this one out, but performance so far seems to be pretty decent. Alternatively, in this case, you can go with something that's a bit sweeter, and in that case that will be Lattafa Hayaati, which is a more vanillic take, more sweet take on the Dior Sauvage Elixir DNA. This is a straight up clone, this is more like an inspiration, but both of them actually will do a great job. My next suggestion comes from the brand of Maison Alhambra, and in my opinion this is one of the best Maison Alhambra scents that you can get, and it's called Victorioso Victory. Nowadays I think this is called Victorioso Nero, and this fragrance is a clone of Paco Rabanne's Invictus Victory. And actually it's done very nicely. One of the closest scents from the brand of Maison Alhambra to the original scent that you can actually get. It's a very likable, very versatile scent profile that feels slightly spicy, it feels very aromatic, it also has a nice amount of sweetness, works pretty much all year round, has very good performance, almost on par with the original fragrance, projection, high compliment factor, and the best thing out of all is that this is extremely affordable when you can find it for a good price. Again, one of the best Maison Alhambra clones that you can get your hands on compared to the original scent-wise. And my last suggestion for today's video will come from the brand of Raihan, and it's called Ocean Rush Per Homme. This is a fragrance that at one point last year received quite a bit of hype, and to be honest, I can see why. It's a very interesting fragrance, doesn't feel like a straight up clone of anything, has great atomizer as well. But to my nose, this carries quite a bit of similarities to something like Acqua di Gio from Armani. But it's like a more modern, more sweet take on the Acqua di Gio DNA. The original is a very versatile, very likable masculine fragrance. But at this point in time, the scent feels a little bit dated. And, Raihan have done a great job with sort of modernizing the whole scent profile. They've added quite a bit more sweetness, and the end result I think is really great. The best time to wear this fragrance is throughout the warm months of the year, but the reality is because of the added sweetness, this feels more youthful and more modern compared to the original fragrance. It also feels more versatile because this works even in colder conditions. All around, actually, I think it's done really nicely. Performance is good, projection is good, and the price is really low. So my last suggestion for a back to school / college fragrance in today's video will be Ocean Rush from the brand of Raihan. And so guys, in today's video I showed you 11 great cheap fragrances that will get you back to school or college smelling great. I hope that you found this video interesting or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.